Hi everyone, this is Anushka and welcome back to my channel A in Economist. So in the previous video, we have discussed about the frequency distribution of an attribute. Then we have gone into the frequency distribution of a discrete variable. We have seen how to construct the frequency distribution table manually with the help of tally marks. And we have also calculated the relative frequency, right? And then we stopped at the cumulative frequency. And we'll start from here today. What is cumulative frequency? Cumulative frequency answers the questions like how many families are there with certain members or less, and how many families are there with certain members or more. So if you want to answer these kind of questions, then you have to calculate something called the cumulative frequency. So let us see how to calculate that. Cumulative frequency are of two types, less than type and a greater than type. For the less than type, what you need to do, you need to ask this question that how many families are there with two members or less, right? In absolute terms, it is 9. But what will be the cumulative frequency? You see that there are no families in this table which has one member or zero members or something, right? So less than 2 has only 9, right? 9 families are there. So you could write 9 here or you could leave it blank also. It doesn't make any sense to answer this question that how many families are there with less than 2 families. There are no such families. Now, if you want to see how many families are there with 3 members or less, then you have to take into account how many families has exactly 3 members and how many families has 2 members also, right? Less than 3 members means you have to take into account the families which has 2 members as well. So you have to add this frequencies. 20 plus 9, it is 29. Right? Now for the next one, how many families are there with 4 members or less? So just add this thing and this thing, which basically means you are taking into account all the families which have 4 members, 3 members, as well as 2 members. Simply less than equals to 4 members, right? So total it 30 plus 20 plus 9, it will be 59. In the similar way, you can calculate this. I have the figures with me. This will be 76, this will be 86, and this will be 90. And altogether, this you have 90 families. So this last cell in the less than frequency type table should represent the entire frequency. If you see this table, we have already calculated that the total frequency is 90. So the best way to check that if you have correctly written this less than type frequency is that in the last cell you should get back the total frequency that is there in the data set, right? Now for the greater than type cumulative frequency, you have to start from the last cell here. Now your question will be how many families are there with 7 members or more. Now here you don't have any more members in your family. 7 is the highest. So the value will be 4 itself, or you can leave it blank here. Then how many families are there with 6 members or more? So take 6 members and 7 members. So just add 10 plus 4. I hope you got the process. Now, how many families are there with 5 members or 5 members or more? So greater than equals to 5 members is what you are trying to check. So you will take exactly 5 members, exactly 6 members, and exactly 7 members and just add them up. You will have 31. Then you have 61. Then you have 81. And then here you will get back 90. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that if you are calculating less than type frequency, this particular cell will give you the total frequency. And when you are calculating greater than type frequency, this particular cell will give you the total frequency. And that is the best way of checking your calculation. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now we will move on to the frequency distribution of a continuous variable. And again, we'll take an example and see step by step how to do this. Suppose the following data relating to marks of test of mathematics of 50 students. So n is 50 here in a college when noted. So here you have the marks of 50 students. And our job is to arrange the data in the form of a frequency distribution in a table of 5 classes. So when you are considering continuous variable, you have to construct classes, right? Classes. 5 classes. Here the question has given you the specific number of classes, 5 classes of equal length, and prepare the table for cumulative frequencies and relative frequencies. So again, what you have to do, what we have earlier seen in the discrete variable case, find out the lowest possible value. Here, if you observe the entire table, you will see the lowest possible marks here is 33. The lowest possible marks here is 33. And what is the highest possible marks obtained by the student? If you observe the table, it will come out to be 77. This is the highest possible marks. So what is the range of values? Range of value would be 77 minus 33, that is 44. Now you know that your range of marks is 44, which is close to 50, and you have to divide this range into 5 equal intervals. So approximately, if you consider the range to be 50, then you could divide it into 5 intervals where each interval will have a width of 10, right? Each interval will have a length of 10. So what are the things that you need to know in order to construct the frequency distribution? First, you have to know the lowest data point, then you have to know the highest data point, then you have to know the range, because you divide the range into 5 equal parts, and then mentally you have to calculate what could be the width of each class. Now this width will be not given to you. You have to apply your common sense and see what will be a suitable width of the class. Here you can do this by 10 equal width. The width should be 10. Now again, what we have to do, you have to calculate the tally marks. Now the process of calculating tally marks I have already explained to you in the discrete variable case, so I'm not giving much time to this. I'm directly writing the tally marks for the class limit. Now you have, since you have divided the class into 5 equal parts, what will be the limits? You have 31 to 40, 41 to 50, 51 to 60, 61 to 70, 71 to 80. These are known as the class limits or the class intervals, right? These are known as the class intervals. And what are the limits? 31 is the lower class limit and 40 is the upper class limit. And similarly, you have for all these intervals. Now for the tally marks, here you will have 6 as the tally mark. Here you have 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now for the next you have 20. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next you have 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you have 3. 1, 2, 3. Altogether you have 50 students. Total is 50. So one thing you need to know here is that tally marks is constructed for class limits. Now class limits can be converted into something called the class boundary, which will be ultimately used to formulate the table. So what you have to do for calculating the class boundary, which is the ultimate boundary that we are going to use, you have to do some adjustment. What you have to see, just take this value and this value. See their difference? Here the difference is 1. Then simply divide it by 2. Simply divide it by 2, you will have 0.5. Now what you have to do, from the lower class boundary, subtract this 0.5, and to the upper class limit add this 0.5. And if you do this, what you will get, 31 minus 0.5 is 30.5 and 40 plus 0.5 is 40.5, right? So do this for every class interval. Take any interval and subtract 0.5 from lower class limit and add 0.5 to the upper class limit, and you will get the class boundary. And since you know the tally marks here, what we have done here, you can calculate the frequency now. You have 6, 14, then you have 20, then you have 7, and then you have 3. So what will be the total? The total is 50. And this is the frequency distribution for the continuous variable. While you have class boundary and corresponding to that, the class frequencies. Now again we can calculate the relative frequency since we know the frequency of each class and the total frequency. So let me do that. The process is the same. If you haven't seen my discrete variable video, just do that and you will get the clarity what I am doing here. And the total should be 1. For relative frequency, the total value is 1. Now for cumulative frequency, again, first you have to write the frequency 20, then you have 7, then you have 3. For the less than type, again, what you have to do, the process that I just showed you, 14 plus 6 is 20. Then you have 20 plus 14 plus 6, which will be 40. Then you have 47 and then you have 50. Here, this represents the total frequency. And for the greater than type, you start from here. You have 3. This is this value only. 3, then add 7 and 3, which will be 10. Then you add 20 with this will be 30, this will be 44, and this will be 50. You can do it on your own. That will make it more clear to you. And that is all I wanted to show you. So with this, we have finished the tabular representation of the frequency distribution. I hope you find this video helpful. If you have any questions from frequency distribution or types of data, you can let me know in the comment section. And in the next video, we'll see the diagrammatic representation of the frequency distribution. So stay tuned for the next video and let's meet you there. Thank you for your time.